Let's go to Joey, who is in New York. Joey, you're on the air.
Hey, thanks, Eddie. Well, one thing that both albums have in common, I would say, is that they're very honest records. They're Too Fast for Love, in my opinion, it's honesty being the hunger is captured there, and I feel like out of all Motley albums, that's the album where they all equally participated in the songwriting, I feel, and it comes across with the grooves and the cowbells and the fun, glam aspect of it. For Too Fast for Love, but Too Fast for Love does not get my vote. It's going to be Shout. And are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, so let me make my argument for Shout real quick, just because that's my island record. If I'm stranded on an island, that's my fucking record. Excuse my language. That's
you can curse. You can say fucking.
Okay. So here's the thing about Shout at the Devil. First of all, it's always it was the most important album in my life as a kid, and to me, it always has read and continues to read almost like a concept album. It opens up with that in the beginning, which, by the way, it was a British engineer that was working in the studio that did that voice. But he did that voice trying to mimic this character that Nicky had created called ALLISTER FIEND. So it kind of sets this wicked, evil tone that when you last interviewed Blackie Lawless, he had brought up that, he's Christian now, and he doesn't get into the dark stuff, but he did give Nicky Sixx a lot of his sort of occult stuff, and Nicky dove headfirst into that stuff in an honest manner, right, while overindulging.
But Joey, hold on a second. Wait, let me stop you 1 second. So you're saying that the voice, I should know this, but the voice on In the Beginning is not Nicky?
No, it's not.
Is it Jeff Workman?
It might. I don't remember his name. It's a British guy.
That's Jeff Workman is an engineer. He's a legendary British engineer.
I think that's him. You can ask Nicky, text them. They'll tell you who he is. But it's British.
Well, Joel, when you get a chance, Google that for me. The voice on In the Beginning on Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. Who's speaking? We'll get an answer.
Yeah.
So go ahead. So Joey, what's your pick? Is it Shout?
Yeah, but let me just a couple more arguments. It's 100% Shout. Well, a couple more arguments about this. How important this album is. Shout. The liner notes. That record, different than Too Fast for Love. They were like four guys hungry playing the Sunset Strip, right? You go to Shout. At this point, they're a gang, and their followings are a gang. They call them the Sin Club, S-I-N. And in the liner notes, if you pay attention, even the techies, they carry those techies with them for a couple of years. The drum guy was Tim Luzzi. They called him the Loser. Clyde the Spy, like Spider, that was the drum tech. And like Doc McGee was like their handler as they were wasted half the time, right? Partying. But these guys kind of kept their ship together, the tech guy. I know this because I was the guy following the band, and back in the day, you could go backstage around like 10 when the trucks would come, and you could hang out and like help them set up the kits and everything. I would do that with these guys.
All right, so listen, Joey, I got a ton of calls, so give me your pick and wrap up.
My vote is Shout at the Devil, wrap up. I think it's because of the producer. I feel like Tom Warman was the polar opposite of what that band was doing back then, partying and high and dark shit. And Tom Warman, being the polar opposite, he managed to be really creative with orchestrating and creating this dark image that Nicky Sixx took that and ran with it. Because even though people say they don't like Theater Pain, it doesn't matter. Any other record after Shout at the Devil doesn't even matter. Because that darkness from Shout at the Devil, that thing that was created by Tom Warman, Nicky Sixx just took that right along with them with every other record they made. And it was always there, that seething dark thing that Shout at the Devil was birthed then. Anyway, God bless you and Shout at the Devil for 100%.
All right, Joey, thank you. That was funny what Joey just said. You hear what Joey just did?
I did.
He's talking about how dark and devil and satanic and loves the darkness and all that, and they ended with God bless you. I love pentagrams and Satan. God bless you, man. That was funny. I don't think he realizes that he did that, but that was funny. All right, so Joel has told us that In the Beginning, as he mentioned, the caller mentioned, was credited to ALLISTER Fiend, a character Nikki Sixx came up with, and was voiced by, I got it right, the engineer Jeff Workman, who was the recording engineer on the record. He didn't produce it. He worked for Werman, obviously. Now, we had Tom Werman on this show. Tom Werman recently released a book, by the way, as well. And our caller there was saying that Werman was obviously not a drug guy, squeaky clean, all that. But if you read Werman's book, he did dabble. Werman wasn't, by his own admission, was not a saint. But he, by comparison to what Motley Crue were into, yeah, he was obviously much more together. But Werman does talk about it. I mean, he had a family at that point. He had kids. He was a record label head as well as a producer. So he dabbled, but he didn't go out of his mind like some of these other guys did.